But much truth is given. And you need to decide right now, for this is a war in heaven, you said, and you are casting your vote. Right now. What do you stand for, the 1/3 or the 2/3? Do you stand for even the lower 2/3, even the very angels? For Lucifer said he seeks to exalt himself above all the angels, all the stars of God, and ascend the throne that the Jews say is the 7th heaven. Are you going to 8? Because once we reach 8, remember 8 years old, we are now accountable. You are able to count. You see 2, I see 1, I see 1, I see the same 1, the same L, say the angels. But there's only one God. Are you seeking to be a God instead? That, my friends, sounds very much like Lucifer's plan. And you said even the very elect will be deceived in the last days. And you have called yourself the elect of the latter days. So I'm addressing you. What is 8? I don't know. Let me just see. The star of Melchizedek. Jesus is associated with a high priest, the great high priest that will be a high priest unto Melchizedek. David took over the city of Zion, which was once Salem, the city of Melchizedek. Anyhow, I sometimes wonder about this 8. Are there really 8 days of a week? I don't think so. The 7th day is Sunday. And you said it's the 8th? Well, that's Monday. That's the moon day. That's the reflection of the sun, but not the sun instead. Why do you choose the 2nd as the 1st? I choose the 1st. What loose do you follow? Sometimes I wonder about this. If we were going to pent that serpent, pent the serpent in the penthouse. Oh, he always wants to be the highest in the penthouse, in the house of God. If we were going to take that sir, which means yes, sir, I'm the highest. But also remember the word sir, S-U-R. No matter how you spell it, hear how it sounds. Don't be lost in the spelling, you L. Serpent is also a variant of the word sub. Have you substituted it with something? For sub is below, and he wants to be pent up and sealed up in the top. The penthouse, you serpent. In order to lock someone up, you must be above them, and then you're locked up from below in 7, and there is the key. And now, you are at the bottom. You dug a pit to build a mountain. Is that your amount? Zion is not even really a mount. It is a mount. Do you climb the mount like a goat? I need a scale. Give me a grade. Give me a degree. Do you see the 1 degree in all degrees? I had someone once tell me, they said, the Lord will spew you out of his mouth because you're neither too hot nor too cold. Well, let me tell you one thing. I'll just, before we go on, I am both hot and cold, and not one instead. That is where the fulcrum is. God is not just one pole instead. He is both the hottest and the coldest, and that is what is truly fair. Did you expect to go in such a situation to your kingdom of the sun and go, ooh, it's cold here, ooh, it's cold, okay, rush to the hot, rush to the hot? No. God is every degree as one. Now, do you hold to too hot and too cold? Well, let me tell you about the wide path, my friends. The wide path is what all Christians, most of them, and Muslims and Jews are still saying. You are not godly. In order to be godly, there must be the ungodly. You are not like God, although Adam says, who is like God? Mormons say the same thing. We will be gods, and there are not gods. That is the wide path, for you are all saying the same thing. But how many of you see the one? The one God that is all people even now. Are you building a steeple? Let me tell you about the steeple. For seeing the one God, is the straight and narrow. You walk the earth and you do not see that? Well, then maybe you are not on the rod anymore. And you have left the rod that is in the valley. Think about the word valley. It is the value. And you're trying to rate, R-E-I-G-H-T, like height has the word 8. You're trying to rate the soul? I thought it was great. G-R-E-I-G-H-T. I didn't know you could put a price on that. I would just tell you, you earn your God certificate. You earned it. I will hand you an urn, and I will say ashes to ashes, dust to dust. As dust you are, and dust you shall return. Put that degree in the urn and burn it. You need to admit one L to return. Now, can you? Or are you still seeking to be God's instead? Do you see the straight and narrow? For when your eye is single, your whole body is filled with light. Where before, you saw through a glass darkly and saw things in part. You are a part of it. You are a part of it. You are just a fraction of it. A fraction. I am a fraction? What if God the Father said, I am just a fraction? If you are in me, Christ, then you must be an infraction. I am not an infraction. And you are not an infraction. 1/3 and 2/3 and 3/3, all of those are fractions. You are supposed to be multiplying. If all we did multiply and replenish the earth is to use multiplication, we don't add to or take away the all. It is all. You cannot add to the all nor take away, no matter how much you see. Multiply and replenish the earth. You use whole numbers. And here's an example. You say, Heavenly Mother, fine. I see one piece of paper. I call it the Father. Now it folds its own self. And in the moment it folds, it is in that very moment, its increase that I call the Son. I am with the Father and am the Father, John said. And John was a beloved too. All Johns are beloved. For even David loved Jonathan more than any other woman, it said. And his soul was intertwined with Jonathan's. Call him John the Baptist, they said. Who is going to be on my right and my left? James, the just, or John the beloved? Let me tell you about right and left, my friends. Everyone wants to be on the right hand of God. Watch this. Hand. If I have a stroke on the left side of my brain, my right hand is connected to it, for I cross. Are you on the right hand? Hand, look it up, Sanskrit, and do not pass it by. Because Sanskrit talks about Atman, Brahman, Abraham, Sarah. Mind. My hand is my mind, and that is my mono. Even with an O, like Elohim. Elohim. It is masculine. It is man. Here is a perfect analogy for you. Which one is my right hand side? Are you trying to be on the right hand? Where is the right hand? The right side of God? I want to be so right. Make me righteous. Make me righteous. I will tell you something about the righteous. Those who truly are the most right are the most righteous. And if you are the most right, you give the most rights to others. You do not take away people's rights in order to be more right instead. Those are the people who are left and trying to be more right instead. So I would just tell you in such a situation, which is my right and which is my left? Those who do the will of my Father in heaven, for he is the only master. Our eternal Father is the only master, and that is the one soul.